I'll do. I'm Jay. This is Amanda. I'll do people. We're going to do something on a historic case, forgotten case. It's called Trevor Hardy. There we go. There we go.
So is this something that you remember, or is this something that you found?
No, this is historic. Like we was doing local areas, and I was just kind of looking for something that's kind of unheard of in an area that I know. And this came up, and I'm like, oh man, I don't even know about this. And there's actually not a lot about it.
Okay.
I was really interested. So his nicknames, the Beast of Manchester or the Monster of Manchester. He was a pretty
Sounds like an awesome kind of guy.
Ah, he will, yeah. Let's just do the. So that's the bloke there. There's actually also not a lot of pictures.
That is a wicked comb over.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? See, I don't know. I'm debating whether that was like the wind or that was purposely trying to hide bald spot.
Brother, it ain't hiding nothing.
Right. Well, there's not a lot of pictures, and when you do find pictures, they're all clumbered together. So it's hard to work out who the parents are and stuff. But he's definitely the scumbag. His name is Trevor Joseph Hardy. Born 1945. He died a few years ago, and he died at HMP Wakefield, which is it is a common paedophile prison in the UK.
HMP. Okay, so HMP means Her Majesty's Prison?
Yeah, Her Majesty's Prison.
Look at that, knowing stuff.
Wakefield's had numerous offenders over the years. Like, I'm pretty sure over the course of what we've been doing, some of the prisoners that I'll talk about are probably going to be from Wakefield. So you've had like the Cray's been there, Bronson's been there. It's a pedo prison, basically.
Awesome.
So that's him being arrested. Yeah, it's definitely come over that, isn't it?
And it's not doing anything.
No. There's a certain point where you just got to grace it. Really, to be honest, that's actually terrible. But there's the prison, HMP Wakefield. Thanks for that. Whatever it's like. Let me just pull it up.
So that's an interesting, like, spoke kind of pattern for the prison. Is that common in prisons there?
Yeah, so I don't know if my cursor will show it. So, like, you've got these here, right? These are wings that you've got. Like, you've got the whole entire prison there. These would be the wings that they go on. And these might be, like, specialist units for where the more hardened criminals, where probably he was, and more notorious ones. But you'll have, like, an induction wing where it's your first night, and then they'll place you to each individual wing. And that's where you'll
So is that a common, like, spoke kind of pattern way that prisons are done there?
Yeah, there's quite a few prisons like that. HMP Lincoln's a little bit like that as well. Doncaster's like that. HMP Nottingham is like that. So
okay, popular, right? All right.
Because you've got, like, see the middle part there. You can enter each wing from that part, so it's pretty easier. Where you've got the officers, they can run in, they'll know which wing to go on straight away, rather than just like you've got a wing there, wing there, wing there, wing there, and the officers will have to run around. So it's a pretty good design, I think. Really, I wouldn't want to live around this area because everyone knows what this prison is.
Yeah.
So these are the victims, right? So we've got Shannon there, the first one. She's 17. What does my note say about this one? Let me have a look. Shannon, 17, was stabbed and strangled with a pair of ties prior to being dumped in Rochdale Canal at Failsworth. So
wait, is her name Shannon or Sharon?
Sharon.
Okay.
What am I saying?
I thought you said Shannon. That's fine.
Oh, yeah, no, she was dumped in Rochdale Canal. By the way, this guy, he was actually born in one of the murders where he did it. So he was born in Newton Heath in Manchester. And Newton Heath is local to where every single one of these victims was killed. And there's also,
so he was really familiar with the area.
Oh, yeah, 100% familiar. He knew he would have spent his childhood around, like, one of them, who was it? So Janet, the youngest one, she was killed in Newton Heath North. So he basically did it on his own doorstep, really.
Okay.
So Sharon here, killed with a parasite, dumped in Rochdale Canal, which is a really horrible way because I should have got some pictures of what Rochdale Canal looks like. It's a dump, it really is. It's a small little sort of river. It's filthy, it's full of trash and whatnot in there. It's not a nice way to go, especially she was killed with her own clothing as well. Wanda, little one, 17. She was murdered in 75. So they was all murdered within a year of each other. So you've got.
Well, he did quick. Sometimes the murderers like last a long time. This guy was 2.
Yeah, so Janet was New Year 74. Then she was 75 and 76. And the 76 was March. So it was very close from 74 New Year's to 76 March. That's very,
so much time.
very close. So Wanda, the middle lady here, 17, murdered. She was murdered in Moston. I actually know Moston quite well. She was walking home from the hotel where she worked as a barmaid. She had been hit over the head with a brick, robbed, and sexually assaulted. Her body was found partially buried on a building site in March after walking home from a staff party. So her case was quite similar to how the Yorkshire Ripper attacked his victims, but he used a ballpoint hammer.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of bad. It's not really descriptive, and to be honest, I don't really want to know of the sexual assault that's happened. It's pretty self-explanatory, really. It's not a very nice way. Janet, which is weird because she was hard to get some pictures of. Obviously, it will be because of her age. When you find her, there's pictures of a man holding like pictures of her and stuff like that, but there's not a lot. She was 15 and she was stabbed to death on New Year's Eve and buried in a shallow grave in Newton Heath North.
So he's got different. So he's doing strangulations and stabbings.
Yeah. See, there's no real like there's stabbing, strangulation, and with a brick. So the only one that was unusual from the motto of everything else was Wanda. Because strangled, stabbed to death and stabbed, and then hit over the brick, sexually assaulted, and robbed. So that's I don't know which one was first. It doesn't really say which one was first. Oh, I don't know. Idea where's my cursor. So here we go. Here's Newton Heath.
Okay.
You can also see Newton Heath there. You've also got Rochdale Canal. So they're all linked. Moston is actually not too far from here as well.
So that one says that it's Newton Heath and Moston.
Yeah. You've got Moston. These are all 3 different pictures of the 3 different.
Where? There are 3 different pictures.
What's that?
Yes, I can see that there are 3 different pictures.
Yeah,
very helpful. Thank you.
Well, I've got a bigger map of how big Rochdale Canal is, but you can see where here.
Oh, Oldham. I know Oldham.
Yeah, you've got Oldham, you've got Leeds at the top, Huddersfield, you've got Manchester at the bottom here, Manchester Ship Canal. So it's pretty crazy because he was born and raised in Newton Heath, and his youngest was in the area, and it's not too far from Rochdale Canal. So he kind of like he didn't really go very far, and he weren't really careful with his bodies. Like the one that was buried in a shallow grave, that was just kind of like dumped, and then just a few things on top to kind of like, oh well, it's done, it's out of the way, sort of thing. Let me get on to the next picture. You got any questions on you? There's not really much questions on you. It's just maps. But you do know all of them. Yeah, that's all the pictures I will, and that's all the pictures I've got now. He was arrested after murder and bragging about it to his younger brother, and he was freed on the basis of an alibi he had arranged with his partner.
So he had a lady friend that
Yeah.
covered for him?
Kind of bad back then, because back then, women really weren't, respected. If they went to the police and said, "Oh, my husband's murdered someone," they'd be like, "No, that's not true. Go back to your husband." And, all the sort of sexist things and stuff like that. Hardy was arrested for the murders of the girls in August '76. He confessed to the murder and that of Stuart, who is the youngest one, who until then had been a missing person. So he only confessed to 2 before he mentioned that one as well.
So he told his brother about the 2?
Yeah, he told his brother. I don't know if he told his partner. I doubt he told his partner anything. She was just pretty much in the dark about it, I assume.
I hope so.
But yeah, at his trial, Hardy sacked his Queen's Counsel and attempted to confess to manslaughter. However, the plea was rejected and he was found guilty of murder. So he tried to do his own case, and it never goes well for even the smartest of people. Like, it didn't go well for Ted Bundy, really.
Bundy did impress the judge.
Yeah, the judge did say if he took a different route, then he would have liked him and his team, and he was a pretty smart individual. So on the May 28th, 1978, at Manchester Court, Hardy was sentenced to 3 life sentences for the murder with a minimum of only 30 years. Not a lot, that's a minimum of 10 years per person, and that's the system in the UK to the USA is insane.
Yeah. There's a lot of the UK sentencing that doesn't make sense to me, but in certain ways, the U.S. system is overly harsh, especially on certain crimes against certain people. They are lenient, but then they get like unduly harsh for no reason. So I don't know.
Yeah, we do it sometimes like here. Like his sentence wasn't enough. Hardy served his more than 30 years after his arrest, where he was reported to have a good work record. And I think that's kind of wrong, because I don't think if he would have survived a little bit longer than what he did, I think he could have been walking, to be honest. We've had that recently with a case that I'll probably talk about in the future, but the guy killed and raped 2 girls in the 80s, and he's now a free man. And that was only in the 80s, and this was the 70s, so pretty much he might have got away with it and walked free. This guy.
Probably would have been protected too.
So he maintained his innocence and reportedly sent a letter to Sharon's relatives blaming his parents.
Wait, it's his parents' fault?
Yeah, he maintained his innocence and reportedly sent a letter to Sharon's relatives blaming his parents. More likely, the usual case, I've had hard childhood and blah, blah, blah.
So it's not my fault that it happened. I had bad parents.
Yeah, basically, yeah. He was like, he weren't, from the start, he weren't cooperative. He was a bit of an ass to his solicitors as well. Like, he weren't very nice from the start. And to be honest, with hell like that, I don't blame him. But
doesn't seem like a very nice man.
No, that's a different matter. On the 23rd of February 2018, The Times, which is a really rubbish newspaper thing, British prisoners currently who had been issued whole life tariffs were unlikely to ever be released. The whole life tariff was reaffirmed in June 2008 by the High Court. So back then, like here now, if you get a full life tariff, then you're doing full life tariff, which that looks like it was a PPI. We had a PPI in the UK where you get a sentence but not a release date, and it's up to.
What does PPI stand for? I'm sorry.
I'll have to look it up, but I don't know what it means. But it's basically something that's been abolished in the British system because, I don't know, say for example, somebody robbed a house and it was like their third offence, they'd get a PPI sentence, and it's the maximum of a 99-year sentence. But whereas a normal sentence, the judge would be like, okay.
Kind of like a third strike law?
Yeah, you don't actually get a release date. Never get a release date.
Oh.
People's getting PPI for small crimes and stuff like that. It's been abolished now because it's just inhuman.
Seems a bit draconian, yeah. Seems a bit much.
Yeah, it was absolutely crazy. Like, there was some people in prison that was only there for theft or robbery, but they never had a release date, and they could do 20, 30 years and be easily forgotten about.
Jeez.
Oh, he would have got away with it. Like, Manchester locals had suspected Hardy in 1971 of the murder of a 17-year-old in Leyden. And in 2004, members requested that the Greater Manchester Police re-examine old evidence. Detectives reviewing the old case believe forensic evidence exonerates Hardy in the murder of Leyden, as DNA samples examined more than 30 years after the crime were found not to match Hardy. So there was linking him to a few people. But obviously, back then in the 70s, DNA link was unheard of, really. So Hardy collapsed in his cell. This is how he died. He collapsed in his cell in Wakefield Prison in 2012 after suffering a heart attack. He died at the hospital 2 days later, age 67. He'd spent 35 years in prison and was one of the longest serving prisoners in England at the time. Obviously, that's now been beaten. There's been people that have been in there a lot longer, but...
Well, he definitely deserved the 30 years. That's for sure.
I'm actually kind of glad because, like, there's so many cases where they just get a light sentence, a slap on the wrist, and they're out. Like, these women, you know, it's... But this is why it's a forgotten case as well, and this is what I was mentioning. You know, like, I think I know why it was a forgotten case.
What's that?
Because this was around about the Peter Sutcliffe time as well.
Oh, so people were much more focused on that guy.
Yeah, Peter Sutcliffe, obviously 13 women. Yorkshire, which is not too far from where these were happening. So it's kind of like wild that at the same time there was multiple things going on, which is why this is kind of like...
He kind of got overshadowed.
Yeah. Yeah. Because of old Peter Sutcliffe taking the crown for this one. But yeah, there's...
Bit of a bastard he was, yeah.
Peter Sutcliffe, this guy.
I was going to say Sutcliffe, but, you know, both of them, sounds like.
Yeah, yeah. I think actually Peter Sutcliffe actually spent a bit of time in Wakefield as well. Without actually looking it up, but Peter Sutcliffe got it really easy. Yeah, right over there.
Sorry.
But yeah, there's not a lot about this. Like, I was trying to find forgotten cases, and this is one. I was going to bring up there's a folder with pictures, but they were just mismatched. There weren't any names to the pictures apart from these. Like, say, for example, Sharon, it would have Hardy case next to it, so you wouldn't really know unless you did a little bit digging. But it's a shame, really. I thought this was quite an interesting case.
It is. These poor girls got forgotten.
They got forgotten about. Like, I'd actually go into Google now, but I don't know what's on my Google, so not about to go on it right now.
You don't trust it?
No, because I was opening for this case, so there's probably some pictures that's probably not for the internet, really.
Yeah, things we don't really need to see, I think.
But yeah, you got any questions? Like, there's not really much because there's not really much about this. There's very little.
No, it's really sad. These poor girls.
Yeah.
But at least I mean, he was caught and convicted, so they must have had some decent evidence on him, yeah?
Well, let me have a look what they've done here for this.
Like,
So,
how did they figure out it was him?
what have I got here? Sheeran fell out because of which one was he arrested for? So he was arrested for Wanda's murder after bragging about it to his brother. He was freed on the basis of an alibi he had arranged with his partner. So that's the original reason why he came to attention, is because of this lady here. Where is it? And because he had filed his teeth with a contraband file delivered by his partner, so they would not match the bite marks found on her body. He would go on to kill Sharon 6 months after being freed.
Okay, so he killed Wanda, bragged to his brother about it. Brother turned him in, and then his partner got him out on an alibi, and then he went on to kill Sharon.
Yeah. So the partner, while he was in prison, she sent in illegal contraband to file down his teeth because there were bite marks. And obviously, when they did a dental record test,
they won't match.
His teeth didn't match his, so they released. 6 months later, he killed this lady. So the police, in effect, let the murderer go.
Well, but if you don't have evidence, you can't hold somebody. You can't just hold somebody because you think they did something.
No, like, so where's that? So prior to Janet, this young girl,
she was the last one, yeah?
Yeah, she was, yeah. Where was I? Had been released on parole for battering a man. So prior to Stuart's murder, Janet Hare, he had been released on parole for battering a man with a pickaxe. So he not only was getting in trouble for this murder, he was released and killed this lady. Before he killed this lady, he beat up a man with an axe and then again was released, where he could just do more.
That's it's a bit. How do you beat somebody with an axe and then just be like, oh, going home now, bye?
Yeah, pickaxe. That's quite a brutal thing to just beat someone.
Yeah, it is.
It's not something that you just leave lying around in the kitchen or whatnot. You've actually gone into the garden to get that. But yeah, pickaxe. He was reportedly mistook Stuart for a schoolgirl whom he was infatuated. Hardy removed Stuart's ring and gave it to another girl as a love token. Hardy had also kept Wanda's blood-stained clothes and her handbag as a grisly trophy. The investigation released that Hardy killed Shannon after she witnessed him attempting to burgle a shopping centre at night. We kept trophies.
Oh, so she was a witness to a burglary, and that's why he offed her.
Yeah, and this girl was a mistaken one. And he robbed her, took her jewellery, and then gave it to another girl.
So creepy.
Yeah, it is. It's pretty creepy. Okay, so I tried to find something on YouTube to try and get a documentary about it, but
well, now we'll be on YouTube. Huh?
Yeah, there you go. Not a lot of pictures. Did actually put a little bit of time into the slideshow here. Yeah.
It's very nice.
Thank you. I got a lot of time doing that. But yeah, that's pretty much the guy there, the one with the comb over and a very, very fine mustache. Any questions on these?
Wow, no, that was very interesting.
Brown bread coming up to a 10th year anniversary of this man being dead.
Good for him.
I think when prisoners die in prison, like Wakefield, I think they're buried in the grounds or cremated in the grounds, unless somebody wants to take.
Yeah, here they're only interred on prison grounds and if nobody claims the body. Like if somebody wants to come get the body, they'll release it, but otherwise they're interred on grounds.
Yeah, I don't think people are going to rush to collect his body. Really.
I mean, you never know. There's a lot of killers and murderers and other assortedly awful people have like fan clubs and stuff. So people do love them for some reason. I don't know.
Is it? Yeah, can a family member only collect the body, or can like a crazy fan?
I don't know. I think it's either a family member or you have to have some sort of legal paperwork. Like they're not just going to give a body to any Tom, Dick, or Harry that walks in.
Well, yeah. Especially
Excuse me, I would like a body, please. Thank you. Bye.
Yeah, I am the CEO of the Trevor Hardy fan club. I am a proper CEO. Can I collect his parts, please?
No, but like I'm sure. I mean, if prisoners can get married in prison, I'm sure they can do like a power of attorney sort of situation. Like if I die, I give my body to Jimmy or whatever.
But yeah, all right. Well, that's everything. I think that's it. It's not going to be. Well, when is it recording? Yeah, or panic then. I was gonna say it's not recording as well. Yeah, that's the one that I had.
All right.
Not a lot on it, but
Well, the next time it's me.
It is you, and the next time you'll be here on this grainy camera.
Yeah.
Not the best, but what do you expect? I don't know what you're doing. Are you doing the worldwide one, or?
Yes, I'm gonna do a worldwide one.
And you've got that ready, haven't you?
Not yet, but I will.
Cool. All right. Well, let me just stop this.